you all know, this will be recorded. Don't worry, it is just the screen that I am presenting, so it won't be Google Meet, no faces, but audio will be picked up either way. Um, Outside of that, we should be good. How's everybody doing? We're doing all right? Doing good? Yeah. All right, let's see here. So I wanted to go over today just the kind of the whole student experience, their portal, seeing here their application step, and some of the things in between. Mostly to help out. I know we had a couple new schools, some who are kind of waiting for new students to come in and, wanting to make sure that they understand how the students are seeing it. Along with, if you needed to answer some questions for students, or as you may know, we do like to say we want to put the work back on the student. So if one of them comes up to you asking where you actually can make a time clock correction or where you can, um, change services or add things for them, uh, they're able to at least send in that request first. So to start, we have our beautiful application screen. Every school has their own URL for this. You can find these as an admin logged in. Admin tools down towards the bottom is URLs. There you can just copy paste, use that on your website, and it will take them to the good old application screen. The usual email, first, last name, birth date, social, and all the other extra upload requirements that you may have. And then once they are having, chopped that all up, got it all done, it will pop them over here. Your application is under review. Pretty simple. Doesn't allow them to do anything else but sign out at that point. However, if we go ahead and I'm going to put them into a future status real quick, and let's hope a reload goes. Perfect. So their start date was almost a year ago now. Either way, if they're in a future status and that's what you put them in, this is what they're going to see. They're able to check out all their enrollment documents, contract, the school catalog, the resources. They're able to even pay any fees or maybe get a jump on their bill if they really want to. And of course, get on and sign out as usual. The biggest thing here, though, is our start orientation. Of course, NACIS requires some sort of orientation go through, at least for one day for your schools. And with this, they're able to come along with you. If you do that on your orientation days, your first days, whenever you're going over your syllabus or syllabi, I guess, um, you're able to have them follow along with you. They're able to click into, and a lot of these we pull up from our test school, so students may look a little funky in this. But they're able to follow along with you pace by pace, and once they're all done, they can accept, acknowledge that, complete it, and they'll be pushed back into their, I should say, their future status screen. However, start school at the top. Once they're all done there, and we get their good old glorious front page. Might look a little different from maybe you've last seen it. We've added just a couple of things, but starting from the top here, have their name, PIN number, and if they decided to add a profile picture, right? Throw it up on there. Appointments. We are working on a new appointment system, so we will go over this in just a second. But they're able to see what they have today and what is to come. So they're all ready and prepared for that day, and they can get everything straightened out. They have their times, hours completed versus how many they're actually scheduled for, and their progress bar for it. Financial stuff, whatever they're owing currently. And then finally, their overall averages and their grades so that they're able to see all of this goodness and start to pick up the slack if they find themselves needing to, if they're falling short on any of their stuff. Finally, at the bottom, we have classic submit services, take tests, and the new appointments. Here they're able to, as they say, pop in and submit their services as need be, take any tests that have been turned on from you guys, and get rolling on those. So we're going to start with the appointments. Today, we don't have anything, and that's all right. But what a student can do still is head over to their calendar view. This is looking a little different for them too. We'll go over that as well. But let's select today. Nothing going on, no demos, no nothing. So this is currently being worked on, but they can go ahead and see if there is something class related that might conflict with a client. But the best part is that down in the bottom, they're actually able to schedule any sort of appointment up, whether it's student to student. I don't know. I know at our school we have on every Tuesday there's a student service day. It's mostly them swapping services between themselves. Some clients do come in, but that's usually a day reserved for our students to kind of work on each other, get some more practice in, obviously, and do some services for each other. They're also able to request that this day is completely blocked off for them. Of course, this is something you would have to approve because this would take them off of the appointments, and no client would be able to either select them personally or Cosmo wouldn't be able to assign anything to them either. But these things are pretty quick, pretty nice. Once they select any of them, all your services will be shown, the time and dates that they can choose them in, and they can even search by a client's name if they've already been through your system before and signed up, or if they need to create a whole new profile for that client, they're able to just a button press and fill it all out. So whether they're even at the shopping around or hanging out with their friends and one of them needs a service done, they don't have to wait until the next school day to get them going. They can pop on in there, register them, get them on through. Let's see here. I won't be saving that one today. And then block off request. Again, something that you would have to approve. They're able to select a start and end time and the reasons why they need that chunk of time blocked off. Pretty neat little system there. Again, appointments is coming down the way, getting worked on. Um, Now let's start with the hamburger menu over here. Plenty of tabs, plenty of things to run through. And we're going to start with the My Progress that drops down into several others. Progress is mostly for them to check and track everything from their grades, evaluations, tests, services, and their overall time for their schedules. Grades pretty straightforward. You'll be able to see things like the GPA averages, total, their attendance theory and practical. But they're also from here able to go in and review the evaluations they've been through. So if they ever need to check out why they may have failed, or they just want to brush up and study on those steps, they're able to pop in here, hit review. All right, says it's passed. No notes from the instructor. Pop back in, study any of the steps that they really want to. Let's see, 180 haircut. Check through all of them as well. They'll be able to help prepare for maybe an evaluation that is coming up for them as well, so that they know what they're dealing with, what they're looking forward to, and what they need to be covering with each step that you have planted in here. Let's head back to grades again. The other one is the view test grades. Not the greatest student, as we can see. Plenty of zeros, plenty of failings. But they are able here to check everything out for every part of the program that they're involved in. So even if they were signed up for something else, they can just keep scrolling, find whatever section they need, and go over their test scores. Surprised this one's even 100%. I'm a little shocked there. Let's see. From that point, we have our times and hours. Pretty straightforward. See how many hours if they have been transferred. I know a lot of our newer signees have got a lot of students to push on through. So they can see and check all the hours that they have been transferred for, what they have clocked so far, and then the schedule hours basically from the time totals for their program. They also have their estimated graduation date here. And of course, these values will change automatically for things like LOAs or excused absences, or if they're just not even showing up. We will go over LOAs a bit later too. Here they can see their time calendar right away. And as you can see, it is shared with a lot of the other ones. I'll go through this real quick. We have 3 new tabs for our students. So instead of jamming all of the information onto one big old calendar, we now have 3 separate ones so that they know exactly what they're looking at. The book is for appointments, specifically for what they scheduled for a client or with another student. The middle one is just their time clock totals in general, so their clock in, clock outs. As you can see, the student's been pretty much playing hooky for a very, very long time now. So a lot of red that they're going to be seeing. As we know, red, it means that they are missing that total time that you require for them to be clocked in for. So whenever they may need something changed, or hey, why is my grade plumbing in like this? What can I do? Tell them to pop into their Cosmo, hit their My Progress, and right on over to Time and into Calendar. And anything that's red, they need to start submitting things up for. And then finally, again, the scissors icon is for all of their service times. So any of the services that they have submitted, this is another area where they would want to check if their grade is failing. And they need to be able to submit things through this section of the calendar. So if they are just tuning up the time clock stuff and not realizing that they have to pop over and realign their services as well, just make sure that they know that, okay, hey, we have a separation of it now, and double check both of those just to make sure that they are doing good. And that's a pretty simple, easy thing for them to pop on into any of the days and then add any new time record. If they have one there already, they are able to edit, resubmit to where, of course, any of you would have to pop in and approve it or not based off of hopefully if you had saw them that day or if they really had gone through with that service. They're also able to mark things for if you had went out for something. Field trips, maybe you had pulled them for a very specific thing in class, or you took the whole class out to do something. They're able to add those as well. Same thing with the services. It's looking much more like the submit services in their normal tabs in Windows. They'll have to select what service they were doing, who they were on, see another student, the time that it took them to do so, and then the note about it. They could see, oh, I forgot to submit service. And again, once they hit submit, it's now up to your discretion and evaluation to approve, deny, shoot it back, say, hey, I didn't even see you here at this time frame. Are you sure this is right? And give them another shot at trying to get their whole dealio straight. So back to their homepage here, we're going to sneak into payments, kind of the bigger chunk we always want to make sure that they can see. So from top, there is the Pay Now button. On everyone else's side, you set up that payment link, whether it's QuickBooks or Square, or maybe you got something direct to your bank that you allow them to pay into. Slap the link in there, and they will be able to just hit onto Pay Now. And I don't know if there's anything set up for this one, so it may just, oh no, look at that, ran right into QuickBooks. So they can pop in their email, fill out the information need be, and then hit pay. Obviously that is an exorbitant amount. I'm not paying that. Once they are done, however, when they pop back into Cosmo Classroom, they get to see, did you make a payment? How much? So they can type in the amount that they had paid for, and that's what throws in that record for you to approve. So you can double check on your financial system, see, oh, yep, Bob did throw in a $500. He did make a payment. You can submit that or approve on that, and now it will come on down to their payments and a history of all of what they've done so far and what it's been applied to. And they are able to see the receipt as a whole, what it's for, the amount, the payment method, just the pay now button in this case, and the reason on where it's going to. And then also another history on all the recent payments that they have made. They can also print it if they had to, or just dip right on back out to their payment screen. With the payment screen as well, everything's itemized so that they know exactly what bills for what, how much is still left for books or fees, costs, kit costs, if they have any overages, which is one of the things I want to go over on your all side, because that one's a bit weird. But here, again, this is where they get to see what they're owed or what they owe for you all. All right, halfway through this bad boy, we went over the calendar, but again, this is where schedule, another place that they can sneak in, start filling out any of the information that they have missed or that they do need to start correcting. Holidays, this is just a little helpful cheat sheet if they ever needed to know what days you may have off. This all comes from the holidays calendar that is part of the school setup. So anything that you have thrown down in there will show up here. So Jameis, the school is kind of a soft copy of the Missoula school. He likes to take a nice little Christmas break. You can throw that down there and your students will be able to see, and prepares maybe a little bit of an overkill of a word, but see what's good, not popping up to your school, jiggling the handle, wondering why it's locked. They're all there, ready to go. They know what days they have off, and that they can just kick their feet up and have a nice day with it. And finally, big one here is the excused requests. So we have a system that allows you or allows them to submit leave of absences and just normal excused day requests. We're going to go through the leave of absence one first real quick. It will throw up the time policies, whatever the policy may be for your LOAs, or if a state's twisting it here or there, you will be able to, they'll see what's good, what's going on. All right, yes, let's continue on. I'm trying to take a sick day off. They will have the times that they are going to be gone. We'll say tomorrow into the 24th. Now, what's nice is that it'll start to calculate all that up for the student to see what they're missing. So total scheduled hours excused in this chunk right here, just the 56. How many calendar days that technically is, so 14. And then what has already been approved for their LOAs beforehand. So if they had submitted one before, they can see how many have been approved beforehand. I know there's only a certain amount available to them at any time. They can see if they're actually coming in and enclosing on that maximum amount. Under reasons, I know on the Google Meet stream, it doesn't like drop downs, but there's reasons like medical, bereavement, vacation, and finally other. When it comes to things like medical, obviously we have we have party, your mom got axed example. We have a spot for them to upload documentation of proof. Now, normally a lot of this first thing comes to mind is like a doctor's note, something like that. But if you allow maybe like a schedule screenshot or any other kind of proof of lining that up, Mostly it's the schedule or a quick other note that maybe a doctor could chalk up for them before the appointment. They are able to choose a file, upload it, get it going, and send that over to you. Uh, Let me switch this to others so that I can just hit continue. And yeah, example. Okay. Once they do have all that information filled out, they will be hit with the full leave of absence policy and request situation. These are all documents that are pulled up in your documents and policies, and they are able to read every little last bit of it along with the basically the signing at the end. What they're agreeing to, what they understand, um, the whole legal spiel. Once they're done, they can hit sign and continue. They get one final look at what this last enrollment bit's going to look like, and then finally send it off to you. With that as well, they're able to see all of it. Whatever requests that they had made before, the reasons, and the status that they're currently in. So this student's got 2 of them in pending. You can see if they've been approved or not, and that way they can at least, at a glance, they don't have to come back in and bug you about it. They don't have to come in and say, oh, hey, did you actually do that LOA? Did you approve that yet? Is it denied? They can come in, check this in for themselves, and move on. The excuse day is fairly similar to the LOA one. Again, it'll tell them all the information, get them the scheduled hours, how many days that has been excused for. And then with this, you actually get to choose total hours excused. And they'll write that down as well. Oopsie. How put this fill it in, party time. Continue. Again, it'll hit them with the leave of absence policy and request. Sign continue. One last time so that they know what's it, know it's good. No schedule set for Saturday. That's all right. Again, that's just another one of the ways. If it's not something crazy, not a long-term LOA, they're still able to submit those requests to you all. All right, next big old drop down is the school one. Starting with kit list, this is the place where they'll actually pop into to start checking off any kit list that you had passed over to them. Now, what's nice about this bad boy is that they can start checking things off, but the moment they do, they can't uncheck it. They can't say, hey, I didn't receive this after they've already check marked it off. This kind of helps making sure that they're not trying to get a little extra from you, or, you know, if they did make a mistake, double up and check on that. But really, this is perfect for their initial going through of the kit. So they can check it all off, get it all good and done, and whatever they are missing, they can bring it up with you. Say, hey, I'm missing some hard wax. Let's check manicure stuff. Maybe we need some more, didn't see my cuticle clippers in there. They're able to check this all off on their own ends too, so that you don't have to go in, run it all through yourself, or even print out and pass them out a checklist and get it back to review. All right, messages. Well, this is a big one. Messages, pretty straightforward. This is actually where a student can get in contact with you or the other instructors who have been set up for this. Maybe it is to ask a question, try to figure something out with a test, maybe to ask if they can get a test reinstated for them. They're able to pop that in here, type in their recipient's name. If they want to add any staff, programs, classes to it, they can also do recipient selected by list. And then finally, the message itself. Any message notifications too that they receive back actually will show us like a little one or two, however many messages they have unread, up on the little profile dude icon in the top right, so that at least they know that there was something back for them. Notifications. These are the things that will pop up and don't go away front and center when they log in. Even if they try to navigate somewhere else, it'll pop right back up for them and just display, show until they confirm. This includes anything from notices that you send out yourselves, whether it's about the school or a change in the day or the schedule, to contract amendments that they have to review and re-sign. With those ones specifically, it will pop up and ask them to review it right then and there. So they can't actually leave that screen until they get their contract updated. Or things like payment notifications. It'll pop up for them. They can move out of the way of payment notices to a certain extent. Once they pop somewhere else, though, the payment notice pops right back up again, right in their face, saying, hey, you're late on a payment. When are we going to get that? And they'll have the option to right there with that box, click in and go on to make a payment immediately. Again, it's really any notification, quick little things to payments and contract changes that they'll have pop up and again have the option to flow right into them. Resources. So this is something that you all can set up, but they are just extra additions. As we see here, so Salon Pro. The students here at the Missoula School actually get a bit of a discount if they work through this link or if they go in person and say, hey, I'm from Beauty Studio School, Missoula. But these are all links and other resources that you can set up for your students that they're able to walk in on and pop on over to. Um, Especially the one that Jameis likes to use a lot was the practical and written sign up. That way, they don't even have to worry about walking off to a different building location or anything like that. They can just pop in here, get signed up for it, and then move on. Customer appointments, Cosmo. Just throwing that in there. All right, this is just a little repatch. So when your students are checking out the clients here, appointments, client profile, they're able to check out the whole client list, add new clients as they need. So if their friends or family members aren't in the system yet and they're trying to get them scheduled up, they're able to add them in. They're also able to check to see what intake forms have been filled out, or if a form has been filled out at all, and then edit the current information for that client. This is where, much like that future status screen, your students are able to see their documentation top to bottom. They can go over their orientation again if they want to. Any of the pre-enrollment documents, they're ready to go for them to look and review. Enrollment contract, here's the whole thing, here's the signature at the end. Top to bottom, if they need to review that again, or even print it out. What's nice about this one though is that you can also view amendments done throughout their time there. So here with overages fees, which is one thing again that I want to just go over real quick. Any amendment, any change that they had to sign for, they can see right here, good to go. All right. Big spiel, big run. I know a lot of you may be familiar with this already, but as one of my old Russian teachers told me, that repetition is the mother of all learning, so it's not a bad thing to kind of go back to basics from time to time. But Is there any questions related to the student profile? Anything like that that I can maybe tickle the fancy for or answer those questions about? Need some Jeopardy theme music for this. No? Good and smooth? Perfect. So that last thing I wanted to go over real quick, and I may do a bigger dive on the profile in general. I don't think that updated right on my screen. Present something else. Here we go. I wanted to go over real quick with that overage charge fees real quick because it is a little different on how you would change that. So here I am logged in as an admin. I have that same students pulled up. We go down, check out financial, and the overages fees. So if you needed these gone, maybe you had a student transfer in and these overage fees are just whack. The calculation went on ahead and they don't technically owe anything. Unchecking the box will not remove that fee from them. It just removes it from the total calculation cost that they'll see. So it just changes that number in calculation only so that you can see whatever total removed from that overage fees. How this technically works is when you hit the pencil icon, your aim is to enter the number that you want removed. So if right now this is zeroed out. If I save this, nothing's going to happen. We haven't changed that at all. What we want to do is, in this case, they don't owe anything overage fee wise. So 32.72.50. Once we hit save on that, now it gives you a double warning. This is an amendment to their contract. This will be a notification that pops up for them, forcing them to review and sign it. But what's going to happen is you'll see your proposed value, what it's currently going to be at, and the moment you hit confirm and save, this will send out that notice to the student to get that new amendment signed, because it is, again, a change in their contract. So we hit save. That's when it'll zero out. And I'll have to swap back over here. Something else. Here you go. So if we take this student, no, come on now. There you go. Boom. Notification, contract amendment, review and sign. They're not allowed to leave until they get this done. They can't do anything else. They can't just click and pass off. When it comes to things like the sign, their contracts, they have to sign amendment in order to move forward. Now, as you can see, it even immediately reflected on their front page. Overage fees, zero, nada, nothing. They're set and good on that. But that kind of wraps up my whole spiel for today. I'm going to open the floor to pretty much any questions that you may have. Doesn't have to be related to the student profile or anything that we had went over. If there's just something in general on your mind that you'd like to ask about.
Good afternoon. Um,
Afternoon.
my question is, so when the new students sign in,